Sarah, heavily pregnant, walked with a gentle sway, her hand resting on her belly. Her faithful Labrador Buddy trotted beside her, his tail wagging rhythmically. They were the picture of contentment, their bond evident in every shared glance and gentle touch. Buddy, with his soulful brown eyes and ever-present smile, was more than just a pet. He was Sarah's protector, her confidant, her best friend. As Sarah walked, she thought about the life growing inside her, the tiny kicks that had become a comforting constant. Buddy, too, seemed aware of the precious cargo Sarah carried. He had become even more attentive, his head often resting on her lap as if listening to the soft symphony of life within. Their days were filled with quiet walks, shared meals, and the unspoken language of love and companionship. Buddy, with his heightened senses, noticed the subtle changes in Sarah's scent, the way her breathing sometimes hitched, and the way she occasionally rubbed her back. He sensed her vulnerability, her need for extra care, and he responded with unwavering devotion. He knew his job was to protect her and the tiny, unseen life she carried. It was a responsibility he shouldered with quiet pride and boundless love. One warm afternoon, as Sarah and Buddy strolled through their usual park, a sense of unease settled over Buddy. The hair on his back stood on end and a low growl rumbled in his chest. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. He whined softly, nudging Sarah's hand, attempting to pull her away from the path. Sarah, lost in thought, dismissed his worries with a gentle pat, attributing his behavior to the squirrels darting up the oak trees. Buddy's unease morphed into a desperate urgency. He barked sharply, tugging at Sarah's skirt, his barks escalating into frantic yelps. He jumped in front of her, blocking her path, his body trembling with fear. The scent that had been a whisper in the air was now a deafening roar in his sensitive nostrils. The unmistakable odor of leaking gas, a silent threat lurking beneath their feet. Sarah, startled by Buddy's sudden change in demeanor, stopped in her tracks. Her hand instinctively went to her belly, a flicker of fear dancing in her eyes. She had never seen Buddy behave this way, his normally cheerful demeanor replaced with something akin to panic. His distress was palpable, his barks laced with a desperate plea for her to understand the danger he sensed. "Buddy? What is it, boy?" Sarah asked, her voice laced with concern. But Buddy couldn't explain. He could only bark and whimper, his eyes darting from the ground to Sarah's face, pleading with her to heed his warning. A passerby, witnessing the commotion, chuckled. "Looks like your furry friend has spotted a squirrel, ma'am." Another pedestrian, shaking his head at the dog's antics, offered, "Some dogs are just skittish, especially around pregnant women. Hormones, you know." Their words, though well-intentioned, did little to soothe Sarah's growing unease. Buddy's distress was too pronounced, too out of character to be dismissed as mere canine neurosis. Sarah found herself torn between the reassurances of the strangers and the desperate pleas of her beloved dog. Logic dictated that she should listen to reason, to believe that Buddy was merely overreacting. Yet, deep down, a mother's intuition whispered that something was wrong. The look in Buddy's eyes, the sheer terror in his barks spoke volumes, but what could she do? She was alone, surrounded by people who saw her dog as nothing more than a nuisance. Section 4. A Race Against Time, a Truth Unveiled. As minutes ticked by, a police car pulled up, sirens blaring, lights flashing. Officer Johnson, a seasoned cop with a soft spot for animals, jumped out. "Everything all right here, folks?" he asked, his gaze sweeping over the small crowd that had gathered. Sarah, her heart pounding in her chest, pointed a trembling finger at Buddy, who was now digging frantically at a loose metal grate on the sidewalk. He's been acting strange, officer. I don't know what's wrong." Officer Johnson, his senses heightened by years of on-the-job training, caught a faint whiff of something acrid in the air. His eyes narrowed as he recognized the smell. Gas. A cold dread washed over him as he realized the source of the leak, the loose grate Buddy was pawing at. He barked out orders, his voice booming with urgency. "Gas leak! Everybody clear the area! Now!" Panic erupted as people scrambled to get away, their previous amusement replaced with fear. But it was too late. A deafening roar ripped through the air, followed by a blinding flash of light. The ground trembled as an explosion, sparked by the leaking gas, sent flames shooting skyward. Debris rained down on the fleeing crowd, screams blending with the horrifying symphony of destruction. Section 5. The Bittersweet Echo of Saving BARKS. In the chaotic aftermath, as smoke filled the air and the acrid smell of burnt metal stung her nostrils, Sarah found herself miraculously unharmed. She had been thrown clear of the blast, shielded from the brunt of the explosion by a furry golden body. Buddy, her faithful companion, the dog who had sensed the danger she couldn't, lay still beside her, his body broken, his eyes forever closed. The sight of Buddy, his once vibrant fur matted with blood, his tail that had wagged with such joy now still and lifeless, ripped through Sarah's heart. A scream, primal and filled with unbearable grief, escaped her lips as she cradled his broken body close, her tears mingling with his blood. He had saved her, shielded her from the blast with his own body, his final act of love and loyalty. Officer Johnson, his face grim as he surveyed the scene, gently pulled Sarah away from Buddy's body, leading her toward a waiting ambulance. His heart ached for her loss, for the heroic sacrifice of the animal who had given his life to save hers. He knew that no words could truly comfort her in this moment of profound grief, but he offered a silent prayer of gratitude for the dog's unwavering courage. Section 6. A legacy etched in courage and loss. The days that followed were a blur of grief and disbelief. Sarah, physically unharmed but emotionally shattered, clung to the memory of Buddy's unwavering devotion, his frantic barks echoing in her ears. She replayed the events leading up to the explosion, realizing with agonizing clarity that her beloved dog had sacrificed his life to save hers. The strangers who had dismissed Buddy's warnings, the passers-by who had seen only a skittish animal now approached her with tears in their eyes, expressing their sorrow and awe at the dog's bravery. News of Buddy's heroic act spread like wildfire. He became a local hero, his story a poignant reminder of the unbreakable bond between humans and animals, of the extraordinary lengths to which dogs will go to protect their loved ones. The park where the explosion had occurred was renamed in Buddy's honor, a small token of gratitude for his sacrifice. Sarah, though forever scarred by the loss of her beloved companion, found solace in the knowledge that Buddy's death had not been in vain. He had saved her life, and in doing so, had given her the greatest gift of all, the chance to raise her child, a child who would grow up hearing tales of Buddy's bravery, a child who would carry the legacy of a heroic dog in their heart. Section 7. Honoring Canine Heroes, a Call to Listen. Buddy's story is not just a tale of canine heroism, it's a powerful reminder to trust our animal companions, to recognize that their senses are often far more attuned to danger than our own. Dogs, with their heightened sense of smell, hearing, and intuition, often perceive threats that we, in our human arrogance, fail to recognize. Let Buddy's legacy be a call to action, a plea to listen to the animals in our lives, to honor their warnings, and to trust their instincts. They are more than just pets. They are our guardians, our confidants, our furry heroes, often watching over us with a love and loyalty we can only strive to emulate. May we learn to listen to their silent language, for in their barks, whines, and gentle nudges they may just be saving our lives.